Okay, in Ashford Park, and this is a QC video. I would say overall they did a good job. These curbs were pretty nasty, and all the non-painted curbs look very clean on the top and on the face, so they did a good job there. The back sides of the curbs, we didn't clean any of those, but I don't think we needed to do all sides. As far as the painting goes, everything looks pretty good. I would say there's a couple areas where you get a little bit of overspray. Like here's a good example. There was a little bit of overspray here. There's a couple areas like that. Here's another thing that you could see down the middle here was, some of these areas, they got hit kind of light on the painting. Probably could have used like a second coat, but again, it also looks pretty bright too. Here's an area in question where this area right here looks bright, and then as you get down through here, looks a little more faded. Part of that is the curb is a little rough. It's a little gritty. Here, pretty good. I mean, for the most part, it's really painted pretty decent. You got a little area that was kind of missed here at the bottom. But for the most part, that's how it looks throughout the whole property. I even went across the street and looked at the curbing that's over there, and it all looks pretty good. That would just be my only question, is whether or not they're gonna ask for like another coat of paint on it, possibly, because of it looking kind of faded in some areas. Here's a good example, and it's probably the best example. Right up here on the very top west part of the property where house 9312-4 is, up at the turn, you've got curb right here that looks, bright right here in between my two fingers there. And then right here looks kind of light. Same thing right here, looks a little light. Might not be able to tell because of the sun. Gets a little darker here, then it gets a little light. So, I mean, that's the only thing. Just a little light in a couple different spots. Down this whole stretch here, same kind of situation where it looks a little light, and maybe could have used a second coat of paint or another coat of paint. But other than that, they were pretty clean on their spraying. I don't see much in the landscaping. There are a couple spots down here that I should probably point out in case they were to say something. Yeah, here's some more areas where, looks like maybe could use more paint, but like right here at 17819-2, you can see in this section right here, the moss is on there pretty thick. Same thing goes with this car down here, that car down there. Actually, not this car right here, but this silver car down here. Let me show you. And before I show you that, I'll just show you the backside of the curb, how, there's still moss on the backside, but we did get the top and the face of the curbs sprayed, and that was my understanding, is that we'd get that done. At 17909-2, though, you can see none of this was cleaned off, but that's probably because a car was parked right here. You'd see the same exact thing down here, where we cleaned right up into that point right there, which probably there was a car parked here at 17909-1. So I don't think that's our responsibility to have to come back and clean when the cars are in the way. I'm at the south end right now, and some of these curbs that are out in the front, I think were part of the city's, so we didn't have to paint them. There was a little bit of moss left in a couple spots, but really for the most part, I think they did a pretty good job. This is a pretty good painted curb job that they did. Show you right across the street here too. All looks pretty good. I've seen some lines that have come out away from the curbs before, but not on this. They did a pretty good job. Okay, so yeah, Other than that, stencils look good. I look pretty happy with that. You know, one thing I didn't notice was, did they put enough fire lane stencils in? I think they're pretty good on the stenciling. Now that I've kind of taken a peek down here on the side, notice I remember that being there, and there was a couple down through the middle that looked pretty good. So yeah, I think overall they did a pretty good job.